1997 was the first year that I really dove into professional wrestling. I knew what wrestling was, I knew some of the names, and I had watched it on occasion when I was younger. However, with my friends bringing their wrestling action figures to school to put on shows in the aisles of our library, I wanted to give wrestling my full attention, and boy did I pick a good year to do so. WCW vs. NWO World Tour was released in the fourth quarter of 1997, and was for the Nintendo 64 only. The game was made by AKI, a company that would later go on to develop WCW NWO Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, and WWF No Mercy. In World Tour you have 5 modes of play to choose from. WCW vs. NWO allows you to choose between 1 and 5 wrestlers from WCW and 1 and 5 wrestlers from the NWO. Those two teams will wrestle in one-on-one matches in a gauntlet-style fashion until all of one side has been eliminated. This mode alone will probably take you about 25 minutes at the very least to play through, and that's if you beat everyone in one try. Also, if the winning wrestler gets busted open in the previous match, the blood will stay on that wrestler through to the next match, which is an awesome feature, especially for 1997. League Challenge allows you to pick one of 4 organizations in the game: WCW, NWO, DOA, or Independent, and go after their respective title belts. Depending on what belt you choose, you'll get a specific roster of wrestlers to choose from. For example, if you choose the Cruiserweight Championship, you'll get to choose guys like Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, or Eddie Guerrero. You'll face contender after contender until you get to the champion.
2, 3 count fall.
Each match takes about 5 to 10 minutes to play through.
1, 2, 3 count fall.
However, if you lose, you'll see a message that says it's no longer possible for you to win the title. League is a long-term round-robin tournament. Depending on how you win, you get points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the league wins. For those of you who are a little confused, think TNA's Bound for Glory series. Tournament allows you to choose from 3 to 8 wrestlers to, go through a tournament. It's pretty straightforward. You can choose single or tag team. The roster in World Tour is vital, for the simple fact that there is no creator wrestler in the game, so essentially you're stuck with who they give you. The size of the roster isn't that big either, but it does give you several Japanese wrestlers that had nothing to do with WCW. These wrestlers aren't officially real wrestlers, but they look identical to real Japanese talents, such as Hayabusa, Takamichinoku, the Great Sasuke, and more. Also, AKI gave you 4 costumes to choose from for each wrestler. Some wrestlers have their old WWF attires, such as Hulk Hogan and Lex Luger. Like many people my age, I only got one console at a time as a kid, and I picked the PlayStation. I don't regret that decision, but I would have been more into this game if I did have an N64. I remember playing this and giving it the cold shoulder. The character models aren't great looking, and at the time I dug WWF more than WCW. Now, over a decade later, I love this game. It's so much fun to play. The roster is thin and the game modes leave a little bit to be desired, but the gameplay makes up for it. This is a good game for simming too, if you just want to kick back and see who wins between Hulk Hogan and Jinsei Shinzaki. The PS1 did offer a very similar game with WCW vs. The World, but I didn't play that until a couple years ago. That's also a good game worth checking out if you have any of the PlayStation consoles, since PS1 games will play on all 3. The amount of moves in this game are limited, but they're a lot cooler than what Acclaim gave us with their Warzone and Attitude games. World Tour doesn't use WCW arenas either. In fact, all the arenas in the game are designed after Japanese arenas. For some this is a big deal, but not to me. It doesn't affect gameplay at all, and that's the best part about World Tour. The controls for this game are very simple to use. The only thing I found a bit odd was that you have to hit your finisher using the joystick. For example, first you need to get your opponent in a strong grapple, Then, once you have that opponent in the strong grapple and your spirit is all the way up, you rotate the joystick in a circle and it performs the finisher. It's odd, but it's simple. You can probably find this game pretty cheap too. When I picked it up a couple of years ago from a used bookstore, it was about $4. I saw it in that same store the other day for $3. Now, is this as good as WCW NWO Revenge? You'll have to wait until my review to find out. Unless, of course, you've played both. I mean, it's been out for 14 years now. As for the rating, I give WCW vs. NWO World Tour an 8 out of 10. I highly recommend this game, and every wrestling fan should play this at least once.